I've decided to film this part sitting underneath my moon where it can hit me in the head and hopefully bash out the memories of this whole process. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. A lot of you have expressed interest lately about my costumes for Ariel and what kind of costumes do I use, what do I look for in a costume. Today I'm going to attempt to show you all of my costumes and talk a little bit about them. Don't know if I'll make it through them all because there's so many. I need to be stopped. It's bad, especially when you make your own costumes and buy them from other places. I'm making it so that I'll learn to be a better seamstress. That's definitely why I need like a third red costume. We'll see how it goes. It's kind of a challenge for me because I hate changing clothes, which I'm in definitely the absolute wrong job for that. I'm gonna try to make myself power through and get through all of them, as well as it's winter and the sun sets early, and hopefully I'll have light to make it through all of my costumes. Before we get started, take a minute to subscribe to my channel because I've got lots of other aerial videos and tutorials and performance videos and choreography and a really cool community of people over there. All of these are bought from either like a very sort of discounted like AliExpress kind of source, and then I tend to improve it a little bit or personalize it a little bit. Or I also do make my own costumes, so there's gonna be some of that as well. I would say the most expensive costume that I have cost me maybe like 150 euros. I wanna do one job with it and pay it off and not, you know, be in debt from the 500 euro like Swarovski crystal costume that I've bought. If you know what you're looking for and you know what suits you and what looks good on stage, you can look as nice wearing something that's cheaper. That being said, if you have that kind of money, custom made things are really beautiful. The people who make those custom costumes are just artists. If that's what you do, like, congratulations, you're amazing. Definitely support custom made costumes if you have that kind of money. I'm just like bordering on psychotically frugal. Like, that's also a problem. I recommend, if you are looking at being a freelance aerialist or you are doing lots of aerial shows, to have one costume in every sort of basic color. So like I make sure I always have a white, a green, a blue, a red, a gold. If, for instance, I'm doing a club gig, a lot of times the person who's organizing all the artists for that night will message me and just be like, everyone's wearing red, or everyone's wearing blue. And that way it's really easy for me to just pull something out. Also, a lot of times potential gigs will ask me what I have in a certain color if they have certain theme colors, especially for weddings. So it's just good to have at least one costume in every sort of basic solid color so that you can give someone a lot of options if they're asking you what you can provide for a job. If you have costumes that are leotards or shorts, especially if you're doing like aerial hoop or hammock or silks or something that is gonna have a lot of knee hangs in it, definitely invest in some nice tights that you only use for performances. I have my performance tights that I only use for performances. I have tights from Move Dancewear that are really great. Make sure that they are a reasonable color that matches your skin. Sometimes I'll fudge it and have them a couple of shades darker than my skin. I never go lighter because lighter always pops out on stage. So whatever your skin tone is, try to have tights that are close to that color or a couple of shades darker. Another question I get asked a lot is, do I have rhinestones on my costumes? And the answer is yes. Lots and lots and lots and lots of rhinestones. It looks like if you have a big stone like this and you're pressing your body into a metal hoop, it's going to hurt. But unless you have a very large rhinestone, I'm talking like this size or bigger, it's not really gonna register in your brain. I have never noticed the feel of a rhinestone hurting me. Everyone's different, so maybe it would bother you, but I've never had a problem with it, and I use a lot of rhinestones. Sequins as well. Sequins are fine. You just wanna make sure they're not gonna catch your tights on like hammock or silks or something that they could catch. Just make sure they're not gonna catch. Make sure you try everything in a rehearsal before you put it in a show. Always, 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 always. Before any show that I have, I do a full dress rehearsal, even if it's me like in a studio somewhere, doing everything in my full costume, with my hair, sometimes in makeup with my eyelashes, because if you're not used to big eyelashes, it does affect how much you can see. I've not put my eyelashes on today because putting on full show eyelashes in my apartment. But if you're gonna wear them for a show, you should try in your eyelashes if you're not used to them. If you have a leotard, try to have it as high cut as possible. I know we all think about the like jazzercise high cut 80s leotards when we think about high cut leotards, but it's gonna make your legs look so good. So good. It makes your legs look 10 miles long, no matter how long they actually are. You're wearing tights, so it's not gonna, you know, slip and expose anything, unless you're doing pole, and if you're doing pole, like, that's already the ball game. You've already ventured into the danger zone with that one, my friend. If you're wearing a headpiece or a wig, just make sure that you really have it pinned in at least 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 pins for like a little decorative headpiece. And for a wig, like 30 minimum. Like just go nuts. Your head should be like mostly metal. So let's get started. I'm gonna change into my first costume and we'll see how this goes. Pulled out my costume box. This is going to take forever. My little box of accessories. I've got some jewels. I've got my little headpieces in there. And then I've got all of my leotards and unitards rolled up. Because I'm so tall, a lot of times when I order pre-made costumes, the sleeves and legs can be a little bit too short. So I try to look for things that have beige at the ends of the sleeves. It will blend in, and if it's a little too short, you won't be able to see it from stage. So there it all is. Let's get started. This is my newest costume. I ordered it completely pre-made, so I haven't done anything to this one. I love these full body unitards because it's so easy just to have one piece to a costume. This one has the fringe to it, which is a little bit unusual for aerial, but I really like it so far. I think that it looks nice in the air when it's spinning out and falling in different directions. Also, it's got these printed on pearl necklaces that give it a very kind of like vintage sort of look, and I think I'm gonna use it for a Judy Garland song that I've been wanting to do an aerial routine to, and maybe on the moon, maybe it'll be a moon routine. I'm not sure yet. Fringe is okay for aerial as long as it's not too long. If it's long enough that it can get wrapped around or tangled up in your apparatus easily, then you probably want to avoid that. So of course, make sure you rehearse on it many times so that you know it's not going to get stuck anywhere. This is my other brand new costume, and this is going to be the project costume because these beautiful little scales that are all over it are glued on and not sewn on. So I'm gonna have to go through and sew on each of these scales. I think probably I'm just gonna do that with my machine and try to see if I can do like rows of stitches, but we'll see what happens. But it looks so gorgeous that I could not resist it. This is my current basic black costume. Basic black is great for lots of different gigs. I really like this one because it has the sparkle, but it also has the printed black pattern. So even if my sparkles eventually start to come off, I'm still gonna have that black pattern underneath, which is the basis of the costume, and then it's still gonna look like a nice costume. That's a great solution if you're buying a costume and you don't know how well the sparkles or rhinestones are gonna be fixed. If you have a costume that would look still good without any sparkle on it, then you know even if you lose some sparkle, you're going to still have something nice. This is an old favorite. This is my basic red costume. You may have seen it on Instagram recently because a lot of people were putting photos up in this costume for Valentine's Day. This is a pre-made costume that I bought ready to wear, but I made this little fascinator hat to go with it because I thought it needed something on the head. My whole body is covered in a stretchy fabric, so it's super comfortable and easy to put on, and I think it's really flattering with the way the hearts are arranged and the sleeves, and it's really just cute. This was the first costume that I ever made, and I made it for my first aerial performance to Diamonds Are Forever. Basically, I just bought a stretchy nude unitard and added sequins. I have rows of sequins all along the collar, and then this little sort of sequin sparkly G-string bottoms thing that I added on the bottom. If you are doing a performance and you don't want to spend a lot of money on a costume and you have time to do this, this is a great budget way to make a beautiful costume, and you don't need crazy sewing skills. You just need time to individually sew a bunch of sequins or a bunch of rhinestones. And this was the second aerial costume that I ever made. Again, I did the nude unitard plus this time fabric paint and sequins. I've redone this costume a couple of times by repainting the fabric and replacing sequins that came off, and I think it's maybe time to do that again. The idea for this was based on the show Bonheur at the Lido in Paris. It was a beautiful show, and the opening number had all the girls dressed as toucans. I took that idea and made this costume with the fabric paint thinking of that. This one's a great example of buying something and embellishing it. I bought this plain white mesh leotard with the little flowers already on it, and then I added lots and lots of rhinestones, and I bought these little necklaces that were at the fabric store, sort of applique necklaces, and put one around the collar so it has its own necklace, and then I also wear this rhinestone necklace with it to give it an extra little chunk of sparkles. A see-through mesh like this is okay for costumes. You just need to make sure that it's a strong, good quality mesh. But I've seen costumes that were completely made out of this with just appliques on top of it. This was my quarantine sewing project because I wanted a costume that I could wear for pole. And I also had these beautiful blue hummingbird appliques with sequins that I had bought when I was in Morocco doing a job. They are really, really pretty. I think they catch light in a beautiful way. Doing this costume was super complicated because it's top and bottom that are connected only by straps. And having to figure out the length and the stretchiness of all of that was very complicated, but I think it came out really good, and it's nice because I can use it for hoop or hammock or silks, but also for pole. Here's a costume that I would really only wear for sort of club gigs because it has the long fringe that can get hooked on things and get tangled quite easily, but it does look super dramatic. So if I'm doing a club gig where they often ask me to do a set, just sat in the hoop, maybe serving champagne or just doing like arms, kind of improv for 15 minutes. I like to wear this because it gives me some drama and some movement if I am conserving my energy by not doing a lot of movement with my body. This is another buy simple parts and then embellish them costume. I bought this strappy black bra at somewhere like H&M or Forever 21, I don't quite remember where, and then just spent a long time covering the cups in gold sequins by hand. Then I bought this black unitard, cut out the front, and then added all of the little appliques and embellishments. It was a very simple process because I was just adding appliques, sequins onto this black unitard. I also made the little stirrup feet so they would stay over my feet. I am inevitably going to do an act to like Goldfinger or the man with the golden gun, golden eye, something like that. Oh, maybe golden eye actually. I like that idea. Typical gold metallic unitard that you keep seeing on all of these sort of like Wish, AliExpress type sites. It's a little bit unfitted, so I might tailor it at some point. It doesn't have any lining or undergarments that come with it, so I just had a yellow bra and bottoms that I've put underneath it for modesty's sake. Here's another old favorite that I bought completely pre-made. This is my David Bowie tribute act costume. I do an act to Life on Mars that's supposed to be a little bit Ziggy Stardust. So I have the red wig with the lip prints. Normally I have a slightly better quality red wig, but my old red wig got stolen at a job where literally someone came in the dressing room and just took my wig. It was very strange. There's someone in a fabulous red wig that has a lot to answer for. This new red wig I'm going to style and make it, you know, more appropriate and costume looking. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. I often pair this with the Ziggy Stardust lightning bolt face paint to really make that idea pop into the audience's mind as soon as they see me. I made this costume from a vintage swimsuit that I bought and some black appliques, a feather, and these black gloves that I had already made. This one's really special to me because I have some sparkly buttons that I sewed on that actually belong to my grandmother, which is really nice. I really like wearing it and seeing that her buttons are on it and just something of hers that I'm wearing on stage. This is my solution for having gloves on stage with aerial, is to have just one finger loop so that my whole hand is out and able to grip as normal, but I do have that nice long line of the glove that goes all the way down onto my hand. This is really easy to do if you want to buy some gloves that have a full hand to them. You just chop off the fingers part so you make this nice little triangle shape, and then get a little piece of elastic and add in the loop to go around your finger, and you can convert your gloves that way. I get asked for white really often, which is why I have two white costumes. This one's a swimsuit with some appliques added to it. I also have a lot of different sort of jewel accessories that I can add. I wear this one for wedding gigs a lot because white, obviously. It's surprising how often I am asked to perform at a wedding, either as a dancer or an aerialist. Maybe it's a France thing because people have destination weddings here, and it's always a super fun gig because the venues where these people people are having their weddings are insane. I've performed at chateaus, I've performed at 5-star like luxury hotels next to the Eiffel Tower. It's really nice if you can start getting wedding gigs. You get the money, you get to perform, and then you also get to see this like gorgeous, insane venue and spend the day there. I was doing a job a couple of years ago where I had a lot of time on my hands, and I made this costume as kind of a learning sewing project. If you can find a cheap fabric, it can be really worthwhile to just make a costume to make your sewing skills better. This is my blue costume. It looks a little bit more blue in real life. It's just a standard leotard. I bought it pre-made. I have a few blue accessories that sometimes I'll put with it. It also looks okay on its own. It's got that nice high leg line that I was talking about to make your legs look long. I've just sat down on the moon to have a little pout because I've lost the will to live. I'm so tired of trying on costumes at this point. I made this costume and several other costumes like it by buying a sort of going out nightclub dress in a very cheap store and then cutting off the bottom and turning it into a leotard by joining the bottom up and making leg holes with elastic in them. It's really easy to change a dress into a leotard if you do it once to experiment and find out how it works. After that, you're going to be able to do it pretty quickly and easily. And this is one of my most requested costumes because it is solid sequins. They are not scratchy, so I've never had a problem with them in the air. And this is another one that I made from a nightclub type dress. Just cut off the skirt, made the lining into the leotard bottoms, and then sort of shredded the skirt a little bit to have this little Tinkerbell shredded kind of action at the bottom. Oh, it's finally time for the last costume. Here's another really easy embellishment project if you're not a seamstress. I bought this nude shapewear and I just added lots and lots and lots and lots of rhinestones. Each rhinestone is individually sewn on. If you have the time and the patience for that, it is better than gluing them. And again, I probably spent 25 euros on the shapewear pieces and maybe 30 to 40 euros on rhinestones. So it did not cost me much to make this beautiful costume. If you are going to do a project where you're sewing on rhinestones, make sure that they have the little holes for you to sew through because you can't just sew on a solid stone. You probably could have figured that out on your own though. Well, that was all of my costumes. I've put my Rolling Stones t-shirt back on. And I'm never gonna change clothes ever again. This is my skin now, and it's going to be forever. That was such a process, but in a way it was really good to just get through all my costumes, remind myself of what's in my costume box. I even put together some things I don't normally put together with the accessories today, which was pretty cool. If you have any questions about costumes or anything to do with I can't talk anymore. Costume changing has taken my brain. It's gone. If you have any questions about costumes or aerial, let me know. Send me a comment on one of my videos or find me on Instagram. I respond to all of my comments in both of those places. So let me know what your question is and I will answer it or do my best to. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you can catch all the new videos coming out. I do 2 per week. Usually I do 1 tutorial and 1 video more like this that's got a little bit of a broader subject matter. I hope they're entertaining. I find them entertaining. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I am gonna go and have a large glass of wine, and I will see you next time.